it dark and strong. I was young, but not.
And welcome to The Day is Past and Gone, a trilogy of slave life at Poplar Forest. I am Gloria Braxton, a member of the Poplar Forest African American Advisory Group. I am pleased to welcome you to tonight's show. Tonight, you're going to see 3 stories set at 2 different locations on the property. Each vignette is inspired by true stories of people who were enslaved here by Thomas Jefferson. The show will be followed by Q&A featuring the cast, the archaeological and education staff of Poplar Forest, and Teresa Harris, our incredible playwright and director. Our first vignette takes place here as we witness a conversation between 2 young enslaved girls separated on neighboring plantations. Once this vignette concludes, we will move to the south side of the house for our final 2 vignettes and the Q&A session. Poplar Forest staff will help direct our movement between the 2 settings. We hope you enjoyed tonight's performance, and we look forward to answering your questions at the conclusion of the show. Thank you.
Take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul. You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul.
Eddie, is that you? Oh, my dear sweet Eddie, it's been far too long.
Well, Abby, I miss you so much.
Oh, I miss you too. You've always been in my prayers and sometimes even in my dreams. I wish dreams were reality and reality was merely a dream.
Me too.
Oh, don't make such a sour face. You look like you just sucked a bunch of lemons.
You haven't been around here in months. Where you be? You used to come around all the time.
Oh, I've been traveling all over with Miss Lisa. Oh, I can't remember the names of half the places we done been. And now, since I'm her personal servant, wherever she go, I go. Oh, I've seen some wondrous things, Eddie. We just got back from a long trip and Miss Lisa wanted to pay visit to Mr. Jefferson's granddaughters, who she ain't seen since I last saw you. Oh, I was so happy when I found out we was coming here.
Hannah told me you most likely to be here today.
Oh, I sent a message to Miss Hannah Ford to tell you. Oh, you are growing into such a lovely young woman, Eddie. Oh, here, I brought you something.
What is it?
It's a charm, silly. You must always keep it close to your heart. That way, I am always only a heartbeat away.
It'd be beautiful. Where you get this from?
It was a gift. Yeah.
A gift? From who?
You asked too many questions. Just keep it close to your heart, like I told you. Oh, and don't show it to nobody. It's our little secret.
Now you knows I can't keep no secrets.
Lord knows that's the truth. But you better keep this one. Don't you know the only thing on this plantation more abundant than those vast green fields of tobacco are secrets? This cruel world we live in is sustained by secrets. Secrets that can take a life or spare it. Knowing when to keep it quiet is a virtue. You, of all people, should have learned that a long time ago when poor Uncle Davy got...
Now, you don't have to bring that up again.
I remember it like it was yesterday. We were playing together right here in the front yard. And, an overseer's daughter, Miss Jenny, was playing with us, remember? We were all running around and laughing with no thought for the fact that she was white and we was black. Most everyone else was in the tobacco field, so for a brief moment, we had to run the yard. We was talking about how folks be when Mr. Jefferson here and how they be when he not here. Oh, we forgot Miss Jenny was listening to our every word. You let it slip out that Uncle Davy had spoken ill of an overseer's wife. Miss Jenny took that news back to the overseer faster than the flapping of a hummingbird's wings. Uncle Davy got 50 lashes that night for being disrespectful.
Yeah, after that night, everyone got quiet when I came around.
Can you blame them?
If I recall, you had the big mouth. You was always telling Aunt Mabel all her children.
Every chance I got. Especially if it got me an extra piece of Aunt Mabel's whole cake dripping with warm molasses.
You's running to the core, Abby. So don't act like you're an expert on virtuous behavior. You ain't perfect.
No, I'm not perfect. But over these past few years, I've been saturated with an eternity's worth of knowledge. I learned a lot about virtuous things and things that are anything but. I've seen things that a young girl shouldn't see. I know things that a young girl should know. But enough about virtue or lack thereof. I've been waiting for months to see you. You have to tell me everything that's been going on. We have months of catching up to do.
It's different from back when we used to play around and run around the yard with no cares.
I remember every moment of those days. We used to make hair adornments out of the wildflowers that sprung up from everywhere.
And blow dandelion mist in each other's faces.
We were totally unaware of the realities all around us.
Now most of my time is spent in them fields. It's worse than we last spoke. I work the fields sun up and sun down. Sunday's the only time I have free. On days off, Hannah teach me to sew. When Hannah told me you were coming today, I wanted you to see my dress. You like it?
It's beautiful, Eddie. Like you.
I know it's not like those fancy clothes you be wearing, but it's something that's mine. Something that I made from nothing.
Like I said, it's beautiful.
You not be ashamed to wear it?
Well, of course not.
You's a liar.
It's beautiful on you, and that's all that matters. What difference does it make what I think anyway? I've never known you to care about what others think.
Well, I care now.
What changed you? Or should I say, who changed you? You got a secret, don't you? Oh, don't start keeping secrets now all of a sudden. You must tell me immediately.
You can't say nothing to nobody.
I won't.
You swear?
I don't like swearing.
Okay, I won't tell you.
Okay. I swear. Okay, now tell me. Tell me before I pass out from anticipatory fever.
I was wondering if you thought this dress was presentable enough to...
You sweet on a boy? Who is it? Is he strong and handsome? Is he from this farm? Who is Mama be? Who is Daddy be?
Now, who be asking too many questions now? If you must know, he be the son of Dick and Dinah. His name Jamie. And yes, he be strong and handsome. I heard tell that he might even be sent to Monticello to learn a trade. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Surely it would. Surely.
You sound fretful.
I just don't want you to be disappointed if he didn't come back or...
Or what?
Oh, nothing. So, is he courting you all proper like? I want to hear all about it.
Oh, yes. Yes, he is.
And you've been playing hard to get like a proper lady now, haven't you?
Why, of course.
Good. I thought you will. So, give me all the particulars.
He told me he'd been watching me for some time. And he said, I never seen a lady that suit my fancy more than you does.
And what did you say?
I say, then your fancy must got some taste.
And what did he say?
Then he say, are you a standing dove or a flying hawk?
And how did you respond to his inquiry?
I say, I'm not so sure of your true intent, dear sir. And you say, upon your heart may I lay claim to look into your face all way. I hope you be wanting to do the same. Oh, what more must be not?
He sounds like he is miserably smitten. Yobo been talking to the elders. They've been learning him on the proper ways according to Fresh Young Bird.
Is that why you asked if I was a lark or a dove?
Oh, he was just testing the depth of the water before diving in head first. And what did you say?
I said I was a flying lark. What else would I say?
Them old men, especially Mr. Jim, they told him he needs to find him a smart, sturdy woman who is neat and takes good care of herself. They tell him that such a woman will be a good helpmate, keep the cabin clean, and make strong, good children.
He'd be able to tell all that by if I'm some kind of bird?
He was seeing how quick you is. You responded fittingly to his maiden call. A man wants to know that a gal has her wits about her when necessary. Don't no man want no dumb woman. A dumb woman might pass that dumb down to her babies, his babies. A man knows that a child born into slavery got to be smart and he got to be tough.
I does not bring no babies, dumb nor smart, into this grim reality. I does not purposely create a soul that has to endure a life such as this. I does not be at peace knowing I couldn't protect my baby from those who want to do him harm or at best break him like he a wild horse.
This be true, but if a young man is sniffing around you, best believe he's wanting more than a smile from your lovely face. And you can't be the last branch on your family tree. You have a legacy to protect. Trouble don't last always. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. That's Psalms 30 in the Bible.
And does the Bible say what morning that might be?
Of course not. It means that you have to wait and have faith and wait on the Lord. In the meantime, it is your duty to be fruitful and multiply. The Bible says that too.
Be fruitful and multiply for the benefit of Master Jefferson, you mean? My babies could be sold away from me the moment they threw nursing. I was not going for that agony. I see moms lose their mind when their babies get taken away. They might as well hang me from the tallest tree because I'm not standing for my baby being sold to the highest bidder.
I don't think Master Jefferson is that kind of man. Plus, Hannah would intervene on your behalf. He has shown her great favor on occasion. I heard she even writes to him. She has taken you under her wing. She won't let no harm come to you or your babies. So don't let fear stop you from bringing forth life into the world. You might deliver the very one that will set us all free, just like Mary in the Bible. You never know.
You say the craziest things, Abby. I'll worry about birthing a miracle when the time comes. Did you say Master Jefferson? Did you say Hannah wrote Master Jefferson?
Oh, yes, she did. May have done it more than once. I'm not sure. All I know is what Miss Lisa told me.
So white folks know she can read and write?
It would seem so. In fact, Miss Lisa been teaching me to read and write for quite a while now. How do you think I know verses from the Bible? She also been teaching me to talk like a cultured Southern lady.
You think Hannah could teach me how to read and write?
The only way to find out is to ask her. But don't tell her I told you. Some people may not think a field slave needs to know how to read and write.
But Hannah's a field slave.
She is and she isn't. She's a field slave when Master Jefferson is away and a house slave when he's here. So she needs to know how to do things that a field slave doesn't need to know.
So how's I become a house slave?
Hannah's the only house slave I've ever known to be here at Poplar Forest. If there were others, Miss Lisa would have mentioned it.
Well, she ain't gonna live forever. She may get sick. Master Jefferson's gonna need someone to take her place. She's already been teaching me some things. I'm going to ask Hannah to train me so I can take her place if the time ever comes.
That may be a good idea, but why are you so interested in becoming a house slave? I tell you, it's not the way you might think. I might get to wear these nice hand-me-downs and eat pretty decent meals and sleep in a nice warm bed when I'm able to sleep. But everything comes with a price. Always remember that.
What do you mean?
For one thing, Miss Lisa is always wanting something, and instead of getting it herself, she will ring that damn little bell of hers, and I better be by her bedside before the echo of the clanging has stopped. It could be 2 a.m. in the morning, and I will have to fetch her something that she doesn't need or really want. Sometimes I think she just wants to know where I am.
Why would she care where you be at the wee hours in the morning?
She just does.
Well, that wouldn't be no problem here at Poplar Forest. Master Jefferson already has a personal servant, Burrow, to take care of his needs. I don't want to be a slave working in those fields. I want to smell like a fresh picked rose and wear pretty dresses instead of smell like dirt and fresh picked tobacco. I want to feel special and look pretty. Like you, Abby.
You are already special.
You're very special to me.
Or are you wanting to impress your new love?
Come to rest on my mind.
I think that's wonderful. In the midst of all this, you still have hopes and dreams. Never let go of your dreams, Eddie. No matter how hard they try to crush them. So guess what?
What?
You is not the only one who has a suitor. I met someone on my many outings with Miss Lisa.
And what was you going to tell me?
I'm telling you now.
So who he is?
His name is Isaac, and he's from a plantation several miles from here. He is definitely strong, handsome, and smart. He's a carpenter by trade, but he also knows how to shoe horses. He also sometimes delivers supplies to our plantation, so we get to see each other often. Miss Lisa knows all about it and seems honestly happy for me. On the other hand, Isaac's master not so happy about us being together because he would have no claim to our babies. You are exactly right, Eddie. It is all about who stands to profit from a slave union. But I'm not going to let that stop me from wanting babies.
So what happened now with you and Isaac?
I asked Miss Lisa to ask Master Walker about purchasing Isaac. I reminded her we sure could use a carpenter.
What Miss Lisa say?
She said she would think about it.
She best think quick, because Master Walker got a roving eye, and it's only a matter of time before he gets you in his sights. You be beautiful, Abby. Soon he's gonna come knocking, and then all hell gonna break loose. Be careful.
It's too late. He has already started to give me little gifts and trinkets. He says it's between me and him, and Miss Lisa don't need to know. He tries to find reason to get me by myself, but so far I've outfoxed him. I think Miss Lisa suspects something, and that's why she keeps close account of my whereabouts at night. She even tells the other servants to let her know, to keep a watch over me and let her know of my comings and goings. The servants are good about telling me what's going on. Miss Lisa and I get along fine right now. She knows I don't want Master Walker, but she only has so much say over the matter. And the one thing I don't need is her as an enemy. You see, Eddie, in some ways, I would trade your meager life in the slave cabin for having to constantly worry about dividing my allegiances. No good can ever come of that.
Oh, Abby, I had no idea. I never lived through your skin or seen through your eyes, but I feel like your soul is unrest. I wish I could heal it.
I will heal the unrest by focusing on other things, like you and Isaac. I, too, have hopes and dreams. Dreams that we will be together someday, somehow, as free men and women, no longer subject to the whims and greed of the white man, no longer defined by these physical and mental chains.
Abby, did Master Walker give you the charm?
What difference does it make? Once the gift leaves the hands of the giver, it belongs to the receiver. I can do with it, just like a slave, I can do with it whatever I wish. And I chose to shroud it in prayer and give it to you.
But it's not.
Shh. What's done is done. No more talking. So, back to you. What are you going to do about this fella you have so mercilessly besotted?
What is besotted?
Oh, Miss Lisa taught me that word. It means stolen the heart of.
Well, right now, I just want to be courted proper like by this man and treat me like a lady.
If you're going to have a proper courtship, you need to look the part. We're going to have to do something about that. With that lark's nest. I wish I could put your hair up into...
Up in a knot like you do with your long, silky hair. Hair that look almost like the white girls, but not quite. And neither do I have your fair and smooth skin that could pass you off as white, but not quite. So my lover will have to deal with this darker variety for hair. But if he be a truly good man, then it'll be good enough. No. Better yet, just like this dress is just right for me, I'll be just right for him.
I'm sorry, Eddie. I didn't mean to say anything to hurt.
Ever since we little girls, I knew you'd be treated differently from both the whites and the blacks. You'd be looked on with favor for your fair skin and your straighter hair. But one thing I can say, Mama always treated us the same. Treated us like we were a rare and precious stone. Made us feel like we were loved. And told us that, even in the face of hate and cruelty, we should carry ourselves with self-respect and dignity. Two sisters from the same mama, but one from the seed of a slave father, and the other one of those secrets you talked about earlier. A secret considered so awful that Mama sent you off to another plantation, rather than you.
Eddie, must you dredge up the dark and muddy soil of my past? Does it heal your festering wounds to open mine?
Your past is becoming your present, and there ain't nothing that can be done about it.
No matter what, I will always be your sister. No one, or no distance, can ever change that.
Damn you, Abby, for being my sister. A sister taken away from me far too soon. A sister I can only see on borrowed time. Someone who has to defend the right to just be, never fully existing in anyone's world. Damn you for, by a wicked twist of fate, not being able to see or truly understand my reality or my dreams. And I'm not truly understanding yours. But no matter what, I will love you to my last dying breath, my dear sister. I gotta go. I see Miss Lisa.
Day by day, I work the line. Every minute.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mary Massey, Director of Programs and Education, and I'm just up here to let you know it's time to move to section 2 of the story and our second location. So if you'll pack up your things, we have our archaeology staff set up to sort of direct you, but we're headed towards the back of the house and then to the left.
Fingers nimble, fingers quick. My fingers bleed to make you rich. You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul. You can take my body, you can take my bones, take my blood, but not my soul. You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul. Take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul. I got a baby child, I'll be there.
Yes, that boy is stubborn as 2 mules.
I bet he be seeing one of them girls on that Johnson farm.
Why you say that?
Because my brother Phil is sweet on one of them. He say they be more agreeable than the ones over here on this plantation.
I can see that.
Why you say that?
Well, take the women in your family, for example. They be mean as rattlesnakes.
No, they not, Hannah. They just don't put up with no foolishness. And they want to be treated like ladies. Sometimes a woman got to teach a man how to treat her right if his mama didn't teach him.
Well, I feel bad for the woman who tried to teach my son how to treat him. They'll be sorely disappointed.
I know that's right. I heard John Hemmings couldn't teach Billy how to nail two boards together.
What are you trying to say, that my son ain't capable of learning?
No, not at all. I'm just saying he might be a little bit lazy.
Lazy? My Billy ain't lazy. He's just a little headstrong. And he got these notions in his head about leaving this place.
Leaving? Going where?
I don't know. Even he don't know. Somehow he thinks that this place is not good enough for him. He's always been curious about everything. I don't know where he get these notions from.
I hear he been running around with some of them boys, been causing trouble in this area. They say they be stealing and such.
My Billy ain't no thief.
I didn't say he was a thief, Hannah. All I said was that I heard that some of the boys that he be running with, they be stealing. And you know how that go.
Yeah, guilty according to the company you keep.
Mm-hmm. I hear them boys, they smart too. They figured out a bunch of different calls and signals that they use to let each other know when and where to meet up.
Is that so?
Mm-hmm. I hear they've been doing this for a long time. You know, the younger ones get passed down the code talk from the older ones. It reminds me of the stories that the elders used to tell about the drums.
Yeah, I remember the old women talking about that.
Mm-hmm. As soon as them plantation masters figured out what was going on, them drums were silenced.
I just can't believe that's happening with them drums.
Yeah, them house slaves.
Huh. It was one of them house slaves that probably told them.
Hannah, you a house slave.
I am only a house slave part of the time, and I don't tell on folks.
Don't get in a huff. Whew.
About them boys you say be stealing.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I said, they meet up on Sundays at the market, and then sometimes they sneak out late at night.
Huh. Do you think Hercules and Godwin know anything about it? I know Billy right close to him, and once you see one, you usually see the other two.
If anybody leading that trio, it be Billy. And like you said, Hannah, Billy is a headstrong, bull-headed, unmanageable, quick-tempered, wild child.
Wait a minute now. I didn't say all that about him. You should remember, he is still my son.
All I'm saying is he has the ability to be a leader, even a headman. If he would just put all that energy into usefulness instead of mischief. You know, I went to Monticello just like Billy did. I learned how to spin, and now I'm one of the best spinners here. And I teach others how to spin. And because of that, I'm showing some degree of favor. It keeps me out them fields sometimes.
Billy don't like being restricted in his coming and goings. He don't like being told what to do.
There's just one problem. He was born into a world that does exactly that.
Well, he thinks that this place is too good for him, that he's too good for this place.
So what you saying?
That he's ready to leave, he's ready to pick up, and he's ready to leave this place. He don't understand why we don't just pick up and leave this place.
So he don't believe in God?
He don't believe that I serve a God that I can't see.
So what you saying is, we gonna have to die to be free someday?
I'm just telling you what I know according to my Bible.
No wonder Billy ain't listening to you.
In the Bible, it says, in Exodus, it says that the Lord will fight our fight. You just got to be still.
And you told Billy be still.
Yes, I did.
And Billy want to spread his wings and fly away.
The first chance he get. He don't understand how I can serve a God that I can't hear.
Well, I bet he got a mouthful after that.
a mouthful and a fistful. You know, you're right about something. You got to teach a man sometimes how to behave himself.
Well, teaching a man a lesson and beating it into him are two different things.
Well, I'd rather put a knot on his head with my fist than to have the overseer carve his back with a whip.
You got that right.
About them boys that you talking about. Those men out there patrolling all time of night. They ain't caught none of them?
You mean the ones what be looking for the slaves without their papers?
Yeah. Or the runaways.
I don't guess so. I ain't heard no tell of it. And you know, news like that'll spread like wildfire. White folks will want to let us know and set an example for the rest of us.
That's true.
Well, what you got over there?
I got these bees right here snapping and having a good time with them. Yeah, but you know, white folks, they will. White folks want to set an example for Billy and them.
Well, I'll just say this. You have to be careful about trying to intervene on Billy's behalf. You're not always going to be able to do that. You got a good standing on this phone, okay? And Billy, I almost thought he was good as dead or good as gone off of here when he attacked Overseer Clark. And I'll tell you another thing. Master Jefferson could have sold him off of here. And next time, you ain't going to be able to do nothing about it.
And you say that to say what?
Even a good will owed to a trusted servant has its limits, Hannah.
I will always protect my son. From the tobacco fields to the tobacco fields to the auction box, from the auction box to the prisons, from the prisons to the graves. That's the cycle of slavery of men that can't listen. As long as I have breath in my body, I will always defend my son.
No disrespect, Hannah, but like I said, you're not always going to be there to intervene on Billy's behalf. Billy is 19 years old. He's going to have to learn how to make his own mistakes. And your good standing, Mr. Jefferson trusts you more than he do most. He taught you how to let you do things around here when he's here. Don't nobody else get to do. Hannah, you got to watch your own standing around here.
I don't care if Billy is 50 years old. He's still my son. And I will do everything that I can in my power to ease the power that these people right here that think that he can't be used, that he's used and discarded as guts.
Well, I'll tell you what. Like I said, you're not always going to be there to intervene on his behalf. And you're not always going to be there to save him. But I will say that this is twofold. This is a two-sided thing. Because I need your wisdom on something else.
Hannah's house of wisdom is closed for the day.
I know that's a lie. You ain't never passed up on the opportunity to tell somebody what to do. Don't use that pot. Use that one. That ain't how you skin a chicken. That a speck of dust on that bookshelf? Oh, that hem on that skirt is crooked.
Am I
You're
that
spinning too slow. You're worse.
Am I that
Worse.
Well, I like you, Maria. The reason I like you is because you like to speak. You speak your mind.
I learned it from you, Hannah.
So what's in that mind of yours?
Well, I tell you, since I had my oldest, James, I ain't been feeling so good. I got a bad aching in my back and in my hip, and it's getting worse. I've been seen, but that medicine they gave me, it don't do no good. And them overseers don't care. And Yancey be trying to get more work out of me, even though I tell him I ain't up to it.
And what do you want me to do about it?
What you always do. help me outsmart Yancey.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
Okay, I have a suggestion. And just a suggestion. And you bet not tell nobody where it came from.
Have I ever said anything?
Now, Yancey got you using that new machine, right?
Right. And it is hard on my back. He wants me to produce 2 ounces of yarn per spindle per day, more if possible. And I try to tell him I'm just not up to it. And he tell me he gonna give me a bad report and put me back out in them fields.
That new machine is a backbreaker, isn't it? I don't like using that beast either.
Well, I tried to tell Yancey that it's harder to run the machine when you're putting fresh cotton in it. But he think I just be making up excuses to produce less.
Well, you're going to have a good reason of using that new machine, the old machine instead of the new machine. Or Yancey is going to go complaining to Master Jefferson.
Well, what should I say?
Well, I remember you complaining about it, that machine before.
The gunk in it. When you get the build up, it's hard to run it through.
Okay, so there's gunk in when that new machine, when you run in the new machine, the gunk has this big build up in it. And it's harder to feed the cotton through when the cotton is dirty.
That is correct.
And I bet that Yancey don't know nothing about how that new machine works. And I know that he don't know nothing about how to clean that gunk out of that machine.
So what you saying, Hannah? Just let the machine get as gunky as possible.
Yes, ma'am, and don't you dare attempt to clean it. Yancey won't have any other choice but to let you use the old machine. He don't want to tell Master Jefferson that he start production on the old machine instead of using the new machine.
I knew I could count on you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You a sly one, Hannah.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I best be going. I gotta get my own supper ready now. So I'll see you later. Whew.
Could you ask Phil about Billy and them boys?
I will. But Hannah, don't fret so over Billy. You know, he's sly. He's smart, just like his mama. He'll be back before you know it. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Morning, Mama.
Boy, where you been all night?
That's how you greet your son first thing in the morning, Mama.
Boy, you're gonna be the death of me one way or the other.
Mama, I ain't no boy no more. I was a grown man and you need to start treating me as such.
Ever since I can remember, you've always been eager to be out in them tobacco fields with the men. You weren't no bigger than that stuff right there. And you was always eager to be out there until one day you got out there and you realized it was real work. That sun be hot, that hole be heavy after a while, and them days be long. You would come up in the house at night, all crippled like you were in all kind of trouble. You better be careful what you ask for, son.
Oh, Mama, you know I can handle myself in them fields better than the average field hand.
If you hadn't been so stubborn, you could have been doing something less harsh, something more valuable here on this farm.
I don't like being a slave to no slave.
What you talking about, boy? Master Jefferson had you working under John Hemmings. You could have been a master carpenter just like he is. If you hadn't been so full of yourself, You could have been making things at Master Jefferson's house in Monticello. That makes you more valuable here on the farm. You could have been more here than to be sold. Why's your skull so thick?
Mama, you've been living most of your life on this plantation, cooking and cleaning for Master Jefferson, making sure everything's just right for Master Jefferson when he comes to visit. Your whole life trying to please Master Jefferson. And what do you got to show for it?
Another day of living on this farm with food to eat, a wall and a roof above my head to keep the cold winds and harsh rains away. Another day that I don't get sold because I'm more valuable here on this farm. Son, it could be a lot worse. I hear folks talking about these other farms and how they have real mean masters and even meaner overseers. You get to live here another day. And for me, that's enough.
You call this living? Every day is the same old thing. You do what you're told to do. You do what the master or the overseer tells you what to do. You have no choice or either face the lash or be sold off to the highest bidder. You have no say over what happens to you. You're at the mercy of the master.
Well, that be the way it is. That be our lot in life. God knows all about it, and we're going to get our reward in the end. It's not going to be while we're here on this earth.
You call this living? And you really believe that, Mama? That be the way they control us. That way we don't question the whip or the chain. We accept that the babies be ripped from their mama's arms never to be seen again. We allow our sisters, our daughters, and our mothers to be used for the entertainment and the pleasure of the white man. All while the good Lord is smiling down on us saying, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." You mean to tell me that you're okay with serving a God who allows such things? That be no God of mine. That be the white man's God.
I don't ever want to hear you such things come out of your mouth again. Do you hear me, boy?
But Mama,
Let me tell you something. You might be bigger than me and you might be stronger than me. But you're not too big or too strong or too old to get a beating. Now, I put up with the things that you say to a mama that a son should never say. I put up with your disregard to authority. But I will not put up with your disregard to my God.
Sorry, Mama. I just don't want you to be no fool.
Son, that's my choice to make. My faith is the only thing that I have that no man can take away. No man. Nothing, and I mean nothing in this life is everlasting. Everything can change at a moment's notice, and there's nothing that you can do about it. My faith is the only thing that I have close to my heart. And that's all that I have.
I know you love to talk about hope, but what do you hope for, Mama?
I hope that someday you or your babies or your babies' babies will have a better life. That you will be able to walk the streets as a free man and woman. What if that is my purpose of life? All of our purposes of life.
Do you pray for me, Mama?
Every day, every hour, every minute.
Thank you, Mama. I gotta go, Mama.
Where you off to, son?
I'm going to see some friends down the road a piece.
A lot of stuff been turning up missing here lately, son. I hope you're not hanging around with them boys that they say that be stealing things. You know, white folks, they don't separate the good Negroes from the bad Negroes. We's all bad Negroes, even when proven otherwise. So if you hanging around with them troublemakers, you're going to be branded the same. you better off staying by yourself.
Mama, I just realized something. I not see it or understand it before, but I do now.
What are you talking about, Billy?
You! You are the day and the night and the night and the day.
What do you mean?
You do things to make white people think you one way, but you really are the other.
I don't know what you're saying.
Yes, you do.
Do you think I survived on this farm as long as I have all these years? Do you think Master Jefferson is giving me charge of this place if he's not confident in my ways? I watch and I observe. I pick up on things, but I don't let on that I know. I know there's some things that are not right, but I don't squawk like no chicken. I sigh like a fox, and I'm watchful like an owl. How do you think that you didn't get sold when Hemmings couldn't do nothing with your tail up in Monticello? It's because you's Hannah's boy. Master Jefferson respects me. He knows that I can work hard. He don't have to worry about it when he's not here or when he is here. When visitors come to visit Poplar Forest, I take care of them. Master Jefferson knows that I do a good job, and I do him right. And if you have a master with a soul, he does you right. I believe Master Jefferson's conflicted sometimes, but he always do me right.
So, Master Jefferson spared me because of you?
Are you deaf in the head or something? He knows you's Hannah's boy.
Oh.
When you went and you tried to go to court before him, don't you think that he knew that you were my child? Do you think the overseer spoke highly of you when you took a bite out of him? I doubt it with all my heart. He sent you back to me so I can give you a second, he can give you a second chance so that I can tell you, talk some sense into your head or beat it into you one. If I don't, somebody else will.
Mama, I love you and I respect your place here on this plantation. I know you feel you're doing the right thing, but I refuse to feel that I be made less of a man. I couldn't do it. Not for you, not for no one. I'd rather be dead than let that happen. I see the way the overseer steal the manhood of the slave in front of his woman. He not look at her the same way no more. She nothing to him. Not provider nor protector. She now not only belong to the master in her body, she belong to the master in her mind. And she will make sure her children know that they belong to the master in body and mind too. That not sit right with my spirit, Mama. I'm not letting no man steal my manhood.
Where you get these foul thoughts from, Billy? Can't you see? You don't have a choice. Your choice has been taken away from you a long time ago. I beg of you, son. Please accept that this is your station in life. This is where God wants you to be. Any other thinking is going to get you sold or worse.
But Mama, I've heard talk. I heard talk with some friends lately, and they've been telling me that there are Negroes out there who are free. Free Negroes. Do you hear me, Mama? Either the masters got them their freedom as some type of bargain, or they even bought their freedom. And some just even take their freedom.
When are you going to get into that thick skull of yours that freedom comes with a high price? And Negroes ain't never going to be free until the Lord comes and wipes this earth of all of his evil. The Lord's going to come one day. We are his chosen people. And the Lord's going to come one day, and he's going to get us, and he's going to take us to a place where the streets are paved with gold and nary a cloud in the sky. The day is past and gone. The day is past and gone.
the evening shades appear, till morning light draws near. The day is past and gone, the day is past and gone.
And in a way, you're right, Mama, but we ain't got to die or go all the way to heaven to be free. We can start by just getting up out of here. I hear there's places where they can treat a black man like he a man. I'm just tired of being told what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. I was tired of working from early morning to days in most days of the week and not having a patch of dirt to show for it. I was just tired of being tired. And one day, you're going to look for me, and I'm going to be long gone. Don't cry for me, Mama. Just save me one of them prayers, just in case.
Wait a minute, Billy. Here, take this. Hold it close to your heart. And always think about your mama.
Still away, still away, still away with Jesus. Still away, still away home. I ain't got long to stay here.
Teresa, you're up.
Okay.
Well, thank you all again so much for coming out this evening to The Day Is Past and Gone. Before we officially get into our Q&A session, I do want to recognize Teresa Harris, our wonderful playwright and director, and the actors for this year's show. Wonderful job. So as I said before the epic move over here, I'm Mary Massey, the Director of Programs and Education here at Thomas Jefferson's Poplar Forest. And we're joined on the other side of the group by my colleagues, Dr. Eric Probsting, Director of Archaeology and Landscapes, and Karen McElroy, Archaeology Lab Supervisor. I never get her job title right. That's a big deal. So this is the part of the evening where we turn it over to you. Are there any lingering questions you have, or any impressions from the show you would like to share? Just feel free to throw up a hand and we'll be happy to answer. Oh, Gloria, I thought you had a question.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just acknowledging her.
Can everyone sit on this? Yeah,
You have
do
a
it.
hand.
Aha, yes.
Oh, okay.
During, I have this impression that there was never free time to even talk to one another. So it was interesting to see there was a visit. How historically accurate is time in terms of sharing, being able to have a chance to talk to your son?
That's a great question.
I would give that to.
I was going to say, I'm going to turn it over to the archaeology department, although I can sort of give an answer if you'd like.
I can defer to my colleague here in just a minute, but I think there was time for people to have conversations. Obviously, there is work that was always being done, and amongst that work, there was time to talk. And there were certain days, Sunday is the best example, where people were given their time to not work and have things that they did on their own. So whether that's here at Poplar Forest, so there's some mention of going to Lynchburg to the market, people being able to meet other folks from different plantations, that did happen, particularly on Sundays.
And a lot of our new interpretive exhibits that we've put along the property, particularly particularly down at the Jefferson era quarter site, really focuses on what life would have been like on Sundays, an enslaved person's really only day off from work year round. Yes, ma'am.
Did many of the slaves that were here also go to Monticello? Was there like back and forth between the staff?
There was back and forth. We know like hogs were raised here and driven to Monticello. We know certain enslaved people from Monticello, like Burl Colbert, Jefferson's enslaved manservant, John Hemmings, Jefferson's enslaved master craftsman, would have come here to Poplar Forest to serve Jefferson with Burl Colbert. He came with Jefferson every time Jefferson visited Poplar Forest. And John Hemmings would have been here doing a lot of the finished woodwork on the house. So there was quite a bit of back and forth.
And Billy was sent to Monticello to learn a trade, which he didn't do too well. She was sent to Monticello as well to learn spinning, which happened. Yep. And then they would come back and teach the skill to the slaves here, the enslaved.
And a follow-up, how much time was Jefferson here? Monticello seemed to be his bigger spot that he would be at. So like when you think about a year's time, as far as the work that was done and the frequency of visitors and things like that here.
Well, Thomas Jefferson came to Poplar Forest starting in 1809. So after he retired from the presidency, he would come 2 or 3 times a year and stay somewhere between 2 weeks and 2 months, depending on how long his visit was planned for. But he did obviously own the property longer than that. He inherited it in 1773. And from 1773, really until the house was constructed, he was mostly an absentee landowner. Karen, you had something you wanted to add, sorry, to her first question. I just wanted to make sure you could.
Well, I was going to say, out of the 5 characters portrayed here this evening, 3 of them spent significant amount of time at Monticello. Hannah was at Monticello until she was a teenager. Or Chadwell and Monticello until she was a teenager. So 3 of them actually, of these 5 individuals. So
thank you.
Yes.
Just a question. Did any of the enslaved people actually have any time to do anything on their own for themselves?
They would have had Sundays.
They had Sundays.
And
but
evenings.
What would they be able to do to put aside a little extra for themselves? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, it definitely was. Do you guys want to speak to that?
People who were enslaved at Poplar Forest and in Monticello, for example, too, they could sell vegetables that were grown in their garden. Most people who were enslaved had a garden that would have been by where they were living, the cabin that they lived in. Might have made handicrafts as well, things that they created and they could sell at the market for small amounts of money. Not a lot, but things that could be added to both the meals or maybe some things that could add to their clothing, things like that to make it individualized that otherwise wouldn't be possible.
Some of the enslaved women here raised poultry, such as chickens and turkeys and ducks, and sold both the animals and the eggs to neighbors or in the market, but also to Jefferson and to him himself when he was here. So that was another way that they could get some money, as well as food for themselves.
Let's go to you first. You haven't asked one yet.
Do we know what happened to Billy?
Yeah.
Karen.
That's me. What year did you set this?
1819.
All right. So in the fall of 1819, Billy's frustrations and finally came to a first head. He did get into a violent altercation with an overseer, at which point he left the plantation. He did come back, and we unfortunately have just no records about what happened at that point, but he was still here at Poplar Forest a couple of years ago when he got into a second violent altercation with a second overseer, at which point he left the plantation again, accompanied by 2 other young men here at the plantation, young men named Hercules and another one named Gowan. And the 3 of them left, and they were caught and taken to jail. And the 3 of them were all charged with planned insurrection, like plans to incite a slave insurrection. Billy was the only one who was charged with assault of the overseer. Jefferson knew that they were not trying to start any sort of a slave revolt, so he did hire an attorney to defend them, and they were all acquitted of that, but Billy was found guilty of the assault on the overseer and was charged with being whipped and burned in the hand. And at that point, after that, Billy, Hercules, Gowan, and one other young man named Manuel, the four of them, Jefferson did have them all taken down to Louisiana. We know that they were hired out to a planter down there named Croghan in a parish called St. John the Baptist Parish, which is about 30 miles outside of New Orleans. Unfortunately, within about a year, two of those young men, Hercules and Gowan, had both passed away from some sort of unknown, an illness that we don't know what it is. Manuel and Billy both also got sick. It is unclear from the records we do have whether or not Manuel ever recovered. Billy did get better, and he chose not to stay on that plantation. So he left again, and he made it to a jail in New Orleans. He got caught and taken to a jail in New Orleans, and the last we know, our records are of Billy, an agent of Thomas Jefferson's, went and retrieved him from the jail and then sold him for $400. So that is the last that we know for certain of Billy.
Wonderful opportunity to get some insight into the emotional impact of slavery on Black people. It's a different look, and I appreciate that. All the hard work that went into this. Thank you, guys.
What a glorious day to be singing in the rain. Day by
The dresses go
day, I work the line. Every minute overtime. Fingers nimble, fingers quick. My fingers bleed to make you rich. You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul. You can take my body, you can take my bones, take my